I have won races with a lot of pain. Yet I wasn't driving my best, but because you commit yourself to such a level where there is no compromise, you give everything you have, everything, absolutely everything. And sometimes you find even more because it requires more if you want still to be ahead, if you want to win. Because of the tension and the responsibility during the whole race and with the difficulties, I couldn't really let much emotion go out. I had to really control and be calculated and cool. Although I had lots of things happening in my mind and body, I had to control all the things because I couldn't make a mistake. I was trying so hard to win such a race for so many years, and I was there with a good opportunity. I had some difficulties with the gearbox in the later stage in the race, the last 30 laps. I lost fourth gear, 20-25 laps. And then I had to jump fourth gear all the time. And for that was requiring much more effort in my arms to control the car. And 7 laps from the end I lost all the gears. I only had 6. It was the only gear I could get. So it was a tremendous pain by the last few laps. But the desire to win was so big that I kept going. The pain I felt, the stress, the emotions from the people that I could see during the race on the grandstand, the feelings were very intense. Everything was very intense. The pain was harder, but I was just absorbing, and not really reacting to it at that moment. I was just keeping it. And only once I finish, then I kind of let it go in one go, you know, just blow it. Just my shoulders. Vem cá, pai. Vem cá. Só encosta. It was a race full of memories, full of excitement, and it's something that you gotta keep in your mind for the rest of your life, for sure. One of my best moments from my whole career is the first victory in Formula 1. Again, Portugal in the rain, bad conditions. I have done the first pole position of my career and in Formula 1, and also the first victory. Together with the first championship, it's one of the best, if not the best moment of my whole career so far.
The build-up to the race itself was not very complicated. We didn't have too many problems. He was quite relaxed, he was at ease, and then we had this terrible weather. And I would have thought that most racing drivers could have been completely fazed by having got to the point where the promise might have been aborted by these terrible conditions. And so my lasting memory is that it did not faze him at all. All he wanted to do was to talk about how to set the car up for the wet, how to get the best out of it in the wet, how to get the engine running so that it was as smooth and responsive as it could be in the wet. And he went out there and he just blew everybody else away. It was one of the motor races of all time, not for closeness of competition, exactly the reverse, but anyone who stood there that day and saw him drive away from a field of some of the most fierce competitors that Formula One has seen cannot fail to have been impressed. There's a lovely story which also gives an insight into his character. At one moment, he got it wrong. He hadn't made a mistake the whole race, and he got it wrong. And he was off on the grass, and the car came sort of sideways, and then it squirted back to the tarmac, and with a flick of the steering wheel, it was straight and off down the road. And Jenks went up to him afterwards, and he said, "My God," he said, "that was unbelievable car control. You know, that was really special." And Ayrton said, "Don't you believe it? I just lost it. How it came back, I don't know." And I thought that, if nothing else, that demonstrated the honesty of the guy, and I think that characterised all his career.
Ele foi considerado o rei da chuva, mas poucas pessoas sabem que para ele ter conseguido isso, se tornar tão bom na chuva, além do talento e da capacidade que ele tinha, esse manejo que ele tinha sobre a relação tempo-espaço, ele teve que se esforçar, ele teve que treinar muito para conseguir transformar esse talento numa coisa que ele tinha domínio.
I never forget my first race in the wet with go-kart was a disaster. Just complete joke. I couldn't do any good. And people were going here, going there, passing me, overtaking me, and I couldn't do anything about it. And in the dry I was pretty good. So then on that day I learned that I knew nothing about running the wet.
E ele ficou muito bravo com isso, ele ficou louco da vida que ele tinha perdido a corrida por causa da chuva. E o que aconteceu foi que cada vez que chovia, cada vez que começava a pingar, ele pegava o kart e ficava treinando até escurecer, até não ter mais luz. E ele treinava debaixo da chuva, ele chegava molhado em casa, até que ele conseguiu manejar o carro na chuva.
Being wet, it's always a tremendous risk to lose the car control or somebody lose the car control and you get involved into an accident. But better if you feel in control of what you're doing and in command of the situation, so you dictate the moves and you make things happen instead of waiting for other people making errors or waiting for other people to making moves. I rather decide the strategy myself if I can and establish my own pace in the race.
year when we have the Ford engine, and he still won 5 races against cars that had more power and they were more competitive than us. I think that was one of the best years of his life, even if he didn't was world champion, because he really showed the world what he can do. The one that comes to mind to me immediately, without doubt, would be Donington. I think on those first 2 laps, he won the race then and psyched the opposition in a form that they would everybody destroyed. There was no racing anymore. No, that was fantastic.
You have to be very sharp all the time to understand the situations as they present to you and not be hesitating. And I was sharp at that occasion, in particular that occasion, and I took all the decisions like that in the right way, with the precise measure, and everything came together. And that was from the green light, basically. I don't know how many times we stopped for tires. I think it's surely the record in any race of pit stops. Driving with slicks in damp and really slippery conditions was tremendous effort, because you just don't get the feeling from the car, and you have to commit yourself to certain corners, and you just can be off. So I had to gamble on this. It paid off, and of course I'm over the moon. Thank you to everyone, and thank you.